Hey everyone, this is Jotham with the Manor House Bus team. Hope you guys are doing good and staying healthy. This week, I wanted to talk to you guys about the story of Joseph. If you guys want to read about him, he's in Genesis 37 to 50. And if you guys remember, a few weeks ago, I was talking about Abraham and his story. And Abraham is actually Joseph's great-grandfather, so that's pretty interesting. But Joseph is living in Canaan with his family. He has 11 brothers and one sister, so a pretty big family. And among all of his siblings, Joseph is his father's favorite, and it's very obvious that he's his father's favorite. And his father makes him this beautiful coat of many colors, and this just makes his brothers very jealous and very angry at Joseph. And when Joseph is 17 years old, he has two dreams that are very symbolic and prophetic in nature. And in his first dream, he dreams of his brothers and him gathering bundles of grain, and then all his brothers' bundles of grain bow down before his. And then his second dream, he dreams of 11 stars and then the sun and the moon coming and falling before him. And when he tells these dreams to his family, his brothers become very jealous, even more jealous, and even more angry, and even more frustrated and bitter towards Joseph, even to the point that they decide that they're going to throw him into a pit and then sell him into slavery. And then they just tell their father that he was killed by a wild beast. So while Joseph is in slavery, he is sold to Potiphar, who is an Egyptian official. And even in slavery, God is with Joseph to the point that even Potiphar notices that everything that Joseph does, he does well, he does with excellence, and everything he does succeeds. So he makes Joseph second in command over his entire household. And Joseph succeeds under Potiphar, and he's doing amazing, and he's excelling. He's doing incredible things, and then he gets falsely accused of doing something he did not do, and then he gets thrown into prison. And in prison, even in prison, God shows that he's with him, and he shows him this by having him be in charge over the entire prison, because the prison warden notices how special Joseph is. So he makes Joseph in charge over the entire prison. He's in charge over all the prisoners. So he's in prison for a few years, and then there are two men in the prison. There's Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, and Pharaoh is the king of all of Egypt. And they have these dreams, and in these dreams, they believe that there's a deeper meaning, but they can't figure out what it is. So Joseph overhears them, and then he interprets both of their dreams. And the interpretation of these dreams is that the baker will be executed, and then the cupbearer will be restored to his original position. And this comes to pass. These things happen. And then 2 years after this, Pharaoh then has two nightmares, and he can't figure out what the meaning of them are. He begins to ask around. He tries to get people and magicians to explain to him what these dreams mean, but nobody can do it. But then the cupbearer overhears what's going on, and then he remembers Joseph. So he talks to Pharaoh, tells Pharaoh about this man in prison who can interpret dreams. So then Pharaoh calls for Joseph, and then Joseph comes before him and tells Pharaoh, "You see, I can't interpret the dreams. It's God who interprets the dreams through me." So then Pharaoh tells him the dreams, and then Joseph begins to explain what these dreams mean, because both these dreams mean the same thing. They both mean that there's going to be 7 years of harvest and prosperity, and then followed by these 7 years, there will be 7 years of famine, in which there will be able to be no harvesting, there will be no crops growing, nothing. And then he begins to give Pharaoh advice as to what to do and how to handle this situation. And so Pharaoh then just says, like, you know what, I'm just going to make you second in command over all of Egypt. And that's what he does. He just makes Joseph pretty much the second ruler over all of Egypt. And after these 7 years of prosperity and abundance, many people from all around Egypt begin to come to Egypt to get food and grain, because Egypt is the only place that has an abundance of it. And among all these people that are coming to Egypt are Joseph's brothers. And they have no idea that Joseph is even alive. They expect him to be dead. And then after a chain of events, Joseph's dreams from back when he was 17 become fulfilled, and they all bow before him. They bring their father, and then he bows before him, and he reveals to them who he is, and it's just like happily ever after, you know? But the story of Joseph is so powerful to me because it just reflects what life is like sometimes. Sometimes we have an expectation of what our life is supposed to look like, or maybe we have a dream, and our road of getting to the fulfillment of that dream always kind of looks different from what we expect it to. And so I just kind of drew up this little diagram of what we expect. So this is our expectation of what life is supposed to look like. We expect life just to be like a straight arrow upwards, like we just go straight towards where God has us, and we just expect everything to go perfectly. But in reality, we just have so many twists and turns and ups and downs, and things become kind of confusing sometimes. We begin to question a lot. But the thing is that even in the moments where we're down, moments where things don't make sense, the times where things are difficult, God is just as faithful there as he is in the fulfillment of whatever dream that we had for our lives. And I think Joseph's life really reflects that, in that even in prison, even as a slave, God still showed how much he favored him and blessed him and reminded him of how close he was. And I think that's something we can all take from. And I think that's a very powerful and amazing message that I am still working on believing, and I think we all can work on believing a little more, and just trusting that even in the seasons where things are hard, just like now, it's 2020, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's very confusing, it's very hard, and we don't really know how to get to the next step, but God knows, and God is with you even in this season. And all we need to do is trust him in where we are and believe for him to take us to where we need to be. And if you guys like the story of Joseph, there's actually a movie about it. It's from back in the day, from when I was a kid. It's called Joseph, King of Dreams. I think it's on Netflix. It's like a cartoon movie. It's actually really well done. I still watch it like every once in a while. It's really impactful. So you guys want to check it out. But yeah, that's it for me. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys, and I'm hoping to see you guys again soon. But in the meantime, hope you guys have a great week and have a great day. Until next time.
One day Joseph had a dream. He told his brothers, one day you will bow to me. And they really didn't like that very much at all. So they took him on a trip and shoved him down into a dark, abandoned pit. And they sold him for 20 shekels of silver. So he was sold into slavery, then he was framed by a crazy lady, thrown into a prison for a crime he didn't do, but God still drew near to Joseph and helped him interpret dreams. God loves exalting the humble to show that life is not as hopeless as it seems. One day Joseph's siblings came and saw that his whole life was now completely changed. They were pretty embarrassed, to say the least. But Joseph told them not to fear, because it wasn't them but God who brought him here. And God was glorified through all his struggles. Even though he was sold into slavery, then he was framed by a crazy lady, thrown into a prison for a crime he didn't do. God still drew near to Joseph and helped him interpret dreams. God loves exalting the humble to show that life is not as hopeless as it seems. So that's the video for this week. I hope it challenged you and that you took something from it. I think that's such a good story right now. Just to remember that God can take really horrible things and still make something good come out of it. So that's cool. In other news, Kat got a new pair of shoes. So she's excited about that. And yeah, we miss you, Kat. I think that's it. So you guys have a good week, and we'll see you around. Bye.